Hello, Oshin from Flow-StateAlchemy here. So I took this video probably a week or 2 weeks ago just to capture really a moment of the beauty of Sri Lanka for a sunset. This is a nice little sunset routine that I don't do every day, but I try to do it as often as I can because it's good for mind, body, and soul. I play with the poi, the dapo, and a stick, doing they call it fire staff. All of which I kind of slowly started in this last 2 years. So this video is took the video, it was a lot longer. I've sped up bits and pieces and sped it up to like 7 minutes. So I'm going to talk for the next 7 minutes a little bit about consistency, movement, what they mean to me, and what I've learned from 2 years of trying to learn poi, messing with the dapo for the last year or so as well. And I never stayed overly consistent with any of them I'm not consistently at them every day. But I'm more consistent than I have been in the past, and consistency has been an interesting one for me to discover. What's consistency for me? Because I always had this mind frame: every day is consistency, and it's not the case a lot of the time. We have to travel through our seasons and through our different times, and sometimes our body's just not able to produce like it does at other times. Same with our mind. And I think for me, the biggest part was learning how to find self-love and compassion when I felt like I wasn't being consistent, and maybe caused myself to shut down and not get back to whatever I was trying to learn or create, So consistency needs to be looked over a long scale. I'm not an expert or a major player or Dapo Star person by any means. I just love doing it. It gets me into the moment. It helps me with my body, it helps me connect with myself, my mind, and it's fun, and then to do it in front of a sunset. Handstands, another one about consistency. I was in Australia and I had in my head, I was like, by the time I leave Australia, I never done a handstand till I got to Australia and I started. And in that year, I was like, I'm going to do a handstand. I'm going to do a 10-second handstand. I did get to do a handstand for about 2.5 seconds. And that's consistency, Maybe I didn't meet the goal that I wanted of 10-second handstand. And that was because partly I wasn't consistent. But what I've noticed is sometimes it's not about doing it as quick as you can or what you think you can do it till. Sometimes it's about allowing the journey of growing and evolving happen as you grow and evolve. Movement, another one. I've been in physical jobs. A truck mechanic. I was in the Irish Naval Service for a part. That was a physical job. I definitely being a truck mechanic took the biscuit for the volume of manual labour and heavy lifting. When I was in the Navy, I done a lot of training. When I was younger, I was big into rugby. So fitness has always been in my life, or I'd say physical movement. But in this last year and a half, I've really dove into even through the breathwork, learning breathwork. The breathwork course I done originally was a pranayama, and there was a lot of yoga involved in it. And I dabbled with yoga for a long time. I looked into Tai Chi and Qigong. And I'm at a phase of just listening and trusting my own body to what it can do and what feels right for me rather than following someone else. Yes, time to time I look up techniques in primal movement, calisthenics, but I'm on this self-exploration of my body, my movement, my ebb and flows of when I can show up in raw power and sometimes when I have to be gentle, just so I'll show up, and just sometimes it's a small bit of movement. Squatting is something I try to do every day. I try to move throughout the days now rather than it being an hour-long workout every day. I try to keep consistent in just stretching for 2 to 5 minutes, connecting with the breath, connecting with myself, rather than it being a fixed program, a fixed regime that I must follow every day and push myself through. Yeah, that works. I've pushed myself through so much shit in life, and yeah, we can force ourselves to do something to get good. But I believe in having fun and learning about ourselves in the process. Why don't I feel this way? Why don't I feel like I can do this? And just going into the deeper realms of who you are through movement, through breath, through self-reflection, but yeah, consistency. Yes, the more consistent we are, the quicker we learn. That's 100%. That's a no-brainer. And but sometimes consistency doesn't have to be every day. It can be as long as you're staying consistent over a long period of time. That's how it has been for me, and it's been, I've been someone that has had a firm discipline. I could stop and start stuff, but I've done it with a stick. I used to beat myself in discipline, and now for me it's a journey of finding how to love myself with discipline, and discipline that isn't shame, isn't guilt, and it's about how you would treat a friend to push them through whatever workout or whatever situation. Yeah, I'm coming to the end. Thank you for listening. Flow-StateAlchemy with Oshin. Way. Thank you.